This is a really bad like-dislike ratio.
Oh, wait, how can you tell?
Because
You have a plug-in?
You got the extender.
Oh, yeah. I have the extent. It's way easier to know whether you're about to watch a good video or not if it's got the ratings.
It
on
makes sense. I never know which little plugin is making my browser slower than it could be, so I keep them to a minimum.
I just
only
have
like
return
one
YouTube dislike, and that's
the greatest one ever. And for everyone needs to know about this. Needs to be like a public service announcement. If you do like Twitch drops ever, if you need to watch one of those gamers for X amount of hours to collect, items in game, there's automatic Twitch drop extensions for Chrome that will just do all of the busy work for you, and you can just put the stream on like 160p and minimize it, and it'll just collect everything for you. Those are so handy.
My favorite is Archive Page. I don't know if everyone knows about this, but there's a Chrome plugin. It gets you past every paywall, and as a news junkie, like, it would be expensive to subscribe to every heckin' newspaper and website out there. So
yeah, I used to do that for there were some sports sites that would track like early trades and whatnot, and they'd paywall it, and I would use that archive trick because I'd be like, "You're not getting me, bitch. I'm gonna find out whether you're blowing smoke about this trade right now." Then click and be like, "Oh, good thing I didn't pay. You lied. You don't know anything."
It's always the case.
Yeah. So shout out to Boogie, friend of the show.
Get well soon, bro.
Well soon. You're in our thoughts. You're in our prayers to recover from this dastardly, the big C, as they call it, crime.
We were racing to it. Well done.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think. Who knows? Maybe Woody's right, and he's going to come back as the big bad wolf of YouTube, the ultimate arc.
Yeah, that's the way to go. He's already there, right? Like, I feel like he's been the bad guy of YouTube for a good 5 years now.
He should become a try-on girl. I want to see him. I want to see him do some try-on videos. He'll get my view.
I don't want to see that.
Kyle has this particular kind of genius.
You can call it that. I do.
I have a particular set of skills. Put the fat man in a lingerie dress and have him dancing around.
I would give anything to see Boogie dressed up in one of those mesh body suits. It would look like he was caught in a fishing net. Look like a porpoise, but needed to be cut out. Dude, I don't. I got to mention those try-on girls every week because, man, it's just a wild. You know what I found out though? I discovered this by going down a deep goon hole. Amaranth started out as a try-on girl, apparently.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, because I found like 2 or 3 year old videos of. I was like, man, this girl is smoking hot, and she looks just like Amaranth. She's like wearing nothing, and it is Amaranth. That's
like literally nothing, or like how
yeah,
close
like
to nothing?
Like a G-string and like a tiny see-through bra thing.
Ruins it.
I mean, if you go to influencersgonewild.com, you can find all the Amaranth pornography you want. She goes pretty naked over there.
Yeah, but
it's got to be accidental.
It's got to be
accidental.
It's paywall.
Well, like at least plausibly accidental. That's what the try-on girls present, right?
Oh, I see. That's your kink. No, I'm into that too. I like. I kind of.
Thank you. I was having myself for a moment there.
Yeah. No. I'm into that too. I like that they grow their pubic hair out just to like flaunt it and be like, yeah, I'm showing you way more than you ought to be seeing. She'll like pull her skirt down until you see pubic hair and then pop it back up. She was like, oh, there's my titties. Whoopsie daisy. Hee hee hee. And it's just like, man, this is the best YouTube channel I've ever seen. Like, this is way better than X-Jaws.
You're familiar with the related genre, which is window cleaning advice?
Yeah, I'm not into that. But I'm.
You don't like that one?
What?
I feel so. What they do is they wear really revealing things, often transparent gowns, if you will, and then they bend over and they wash windows and mirrors, things like that. So it allows them to like bend over in front of the camera. What I like is when the girl is showing off like 4 or 5 different things. And so you can fast forward through them all to get to the good one. Because you'll see that spike in viewership and repeat viewership whenever she like gets her titties out or her pussy like completely flops out. One girl had a butt plug in and it's like, go to 3 minutes and 37 seconds. That's when she just has a butt plug hanging out. And it's good stuff. Good stuff.
This is just a lot of videos with genuine window cleaning advice. What am I supposed to be searching?
No.
I'm going to find one for you.
You want to use keywords like transparent.
I'm getting suggested
haul.
Evo the window cleaner and window cleaning venture. It's not what I need.
That's no fun at all. I wouldn't watch those videos.
Well, I'm halfway through one and no one's naked yet.
Sounds like, I mean, they're naked at the beginning of the video.
Here, Taylor, I got you. This one's not even that good because her sheer outfit is too long, but I was in a time crunch.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at all those clothes.
Yeah, but you can completely see the outline.
Going to a funeral?
Yeah, that's a good sign. That's a nice video you got there. This is called 4K transparent gown window cleaning Athena Allure try-on. The YouTube channel is called Hot Baby. It's
This window's not even fucking dirty. She's lying.
I can't see the front side of that woman, but the back side is tremendous. That's the other thing. The participants range from rough looking trailer trash grandmas to like legitimate, like 9 out of 10, like you're really struggling to find a flaw, or like if this was a creative character, you're like, I think I'm good. I think we're good here. We can hit apply.
It's funny that Kyle doesn't give out 10s. Like the top of the scale is a 9.
Yeah, there's no 10s on fucking YouTube. They've been snatched up by Saudi oil sheiks and shit like that. They don't let those get out too often.
10 state in Kyle's mind that can only exist for like a day or two. You know, she's too young and then too old on the either side of this very tiny peak.
Dude, this is the most absurd genre of YouTube video. Like the suggested one after this is just transparent clothes in dressing room, and this lady's for all intents and purposes fully naked, and then when she goes to take off the most sheer nightie of all time, I don't know if there's a lower blur you can add to a video.
Oh, that's the new meta. That's
like it's 360p, like with the blur, and so like you can still see areola. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. So Taylor, that's a new meta. It came into fashion about 3 weeks ago. This blur meta. And so usually there's a quick transition between outfits. It's like, okay, that's the pink bikini set. Now I'm going to show you the lime green. And there's like a click. And now she's got lime green on. Now they blur her a little and she just strips naked in front of the camera and then like gets dressed. And none of them are doing what I would do, which is to like remove the blur a little too early.
You know what they should do? They should have the blur in like the steady spot while she moves in and out of the blur.
Oh, I like that.
Like, I did my best.
I'll put like a black bar up. She's like dipping down.
Yes.
And to the uninitiated, you may imagine that like we're talking about, oh, you can kind of see through that mesh. There's that's her. Like sometimes it'll just be her pussy will just be out. Like you'll see her lips hanging out. Like you'll see buttholes. You'll see all sorts of stuff.
Looks like.
Yeah, it's a wild time over there. God bless
all our
ladies.
gun friends can't make. These are probably monetized. Right?
I have YouTube Premium, whatever.
Premium, so I don't know.
Yeah, I pay, so I don't know.
We all have premium, dude. I use YouTube more than Netflix. If I was down to one streaming service that I paid for, I think YouTube is the one that would.
It'd have to be YouTube. YouTube provides more hours of content because you have content creators making stuff so regularly. Like I'm in a jam right now where I'm watching old Summit shit. Like I'm watching Summit VODs and stuff like that. And it's like, this is hours and hours and hours of content. It's good shit.
My dumbass watches calls for Biden to step down 4 hours a day.
Dude, okay. And that's my new kick. If I'm being honest, I didn't want to go there this early in the show, but let me just tell you, I have never in my entire life, I've always enjoyed watching CNN, Fox News, even as a kid, for whatever reason. Like when I was in high school, I dug it. I liked cable news. I found it fun to watch. Okay. And so, but I always saw that there was the blue team and the red team. And, if something crazy happens, you can't defend, but like for the most part, there's the blue team and the red team. And then, oh my God, to see the entire media hammering Biden over this stuff. I saw in his interview where I think he said, I got to do gooder. He said, I have to do gooder or something than him to win the election and know that I tried my best. Yeah. And it was like the White House contacts ABC or CBS or whoever it is and says, hey, our stenographers actually had not gooder, but good as. Is that what you had? And they're like, no, we heard gooder. Weird. Could you make the correction to fix the incongruency there?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I saw the most baffled and confused sign language interpreter of my life. Like just holding on by a thread, trying to.
And worse than that, because somebody got fired over this thing they did this week. Biden calls into a black radio station where they've already passed the questions off in secret beforehand for the interview. He still bombs. He still sounds crazy. And they fire the radio host for giving the questions beforehand. And, he got found out. It's been, and he's not done. He's going on for an interview with Lester Holt like this week. So he's doing another one of these.
It started an hour ago. I don't know how long it is.
Oh, yeah. No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah. Wait, tonight? Kyle, if he did it later tonight, it'd be past 8 p.m. and we got a sleepy president.
No, okay. It was it. Can I give you a spoiler?
Let's spoil it.
Spoil it.
Apparently, he calls Zelensky Putin. This thing.
I mean, there's only two big guys over there. Mix them up, and they sound similar.
That might have been the NATO summit. I might be mixing it up with the thing, but he does do that. At this point, they're hard scope. It's not even fair, right? You can hard scope a Trump thing and find things he says wrong or get whatever. But if you listen to all 90 minutes of it, it's basically coherent. He's up there riffing in the heat. Trump has lots of flaws, but his decline is not the same as Biden's. There is no both.
Physically, it's so bad.
Different there too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch that 5-minute video I sent in the WhatsApp where the Parkinson's disease specialist?
I saw it independently of that already. So
you had seen it?
I think Megyn Kelly had it on her show. Like she played it in its entirety, where the doctor's like ranting. I guarantee it's Parkinson's. I stake my reputation. This is also Boogie's doctor.
Boogie's brother. He's wearing a lot of hats right now.
I saw that.
He said something that burned into my mind, which is like, I could diagnose this guy from across the mall. And I heard that and I was like, what? No, you can't. And then I thought about it. And I wrote this in the WhatsApp too. If you show me a guy swimming for 3 strokes, I can tell you how good a swimmer he is without any doubt. And I'm like, I bet Taylor can look at a guy's wrist shot and probably semi-accurately predict what level of hockey he played at just by looking at the wrist shot. Give him 2 shots and skate from blue line to blue line, and Taylor will tell you what this guy can offer. And like, if you have any like movement expertise, you can do that pretty quickly. I can do it with grappling a little bit. This guy, it completely makes sense that he could spot Parkinson's. He does this for a living. He's a medical doctor who specializes in Parkinson's. And he's like, it is clear as day by the way that he pivots, by the way that he drifts off at the end of his sentence, by the way that he takes that short shuffle gait, by the way that he walks without swinging his arms. He's like, he has no doubt. And he's a Democrat who's doing all this. And I was like, man, I believe him. And I kind of feel like our government is doing, and I'm just echoing what he said, a thing that North Korea would do or that Russia would do, right? When Russia invaded Crimea, it just flat out denied that those were their soldiers. Like, oh, this little green man who like came in there and took over Crimea. We know nothing about it. Yeah, could be anyone, right? Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like we're adjacent to that. Biden, Parkinson's? That sounds wild. Why would you say that? It's
been a emperor has no clothes period for the past few years, where for a lot of people have been like, this dude is not with it. This guy is clearly not at 100%. He's diminished severely.
They successfully hit him, and then he did well at the State of the Union.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
I give myself a little sympathy for, pushing back against the Fox Newses who just kept saying he was losing it, when really he was hidden in a bunker.
No, what I saw is what you saw, Woody. So obviously... And I'm going back to State of the Union. This is where my mind was after watching the State of the Union, which 9 months ago now, maybe something like that. Maybe not even that.
Less, I think, but I'm not sure.
I thought, okay, Biden is an old man who needs a nap during the day and gets groggy in his worst times. And I bet if any third aggravator got involved with old and sleepy, then he'd look a little loony. Like if you added cold medicine or you added like a day where he didn't get his nap. Like I can imagine, jet lag. And I'm imagining him with a real presidential workload as it's been described to me my entire life as this crack of dawn, late nights all the time kind of thing that ages you 10 years and 4. So I'm just assuming he's doing that. I'm thinking, yeah, but today he got his fucking nap in. He's strong. His voice is strong. He looks strong.
Were you
yes,
really
this is
convinced that because
at the State of the Union, yeah, he was powerful. Like
many of us have been saying for years that it's been bananas to believe that he's like waking up early and working and like staying up late and working. Like he's been diminished and allowing surrogates to run the country for years. Like he's just been a figurehead who they parade out once in a while, and they hope he doesn't have a catastrophic failure where he falls all over himself or drifts away in mid-sentence. Like I feel like it's been clear for a long time that he has not been running the show.
I don't know about that. I'm sure he's making. This last week or two has really caused me to need to reevaluate what I think, I suppose, because it's hard to tell. I thought that it was old man who's sleepy and groggy sometimes, but clearly when he needs to turn it on, like tonight at the State of the Union, he can do it. Therefore, I imagine when he needs to turn it on for a trade deal or a big board meeting or whatever you call it, when you get the Joint Chiefs of Staff together or a policy negotiation, he gets his naps in on those days too. And so, in essence, he's there when they really need him. The rest of the time, it's on autopilot. And I'm fine with that. But now I'm wondering, he seems like one of those old guys who has good days and bad days, and he's getting more bad days, rapidly having more bad days than good days here at the tail end of this presidency. And it's like, how long has it been like that? Like, how many awful days have there been? Have there been days where he didn't get out of bed? Have there been days where he completely couldn't follow a conversation, and so we just adjourned the meeting and held it, down the hallway with the chief of staff? Like, how bad has this been for how long?
Kyle, you're whatever Earth God for right now. You get to choose the next Democrat, like who should be running instead of Biden. Who do you pick?
Okay. So
I don't know if I asked the question well, but I hope you.
No, you did.
Yeah,
like if I want the Democratic Party to win, if I want the DNC to win.
Yeah, you're trying to help them.
Okay, so first of all, I heard I'm gonna steal this from Megyn Kelly. I have Barack, Michelle, Hillary, and Bill go to the White House and meet Joe, and they say, Joe, it's noon. Good morning. And in 1 hour, there's a press conference out there in the Rose Garden. The press is assembled. Either you're going
who let this black guy in the White House?
Boy, now you fetch my slippers, boy. Mammy, I'd like some scrambled eggs. Now, Mr. President, how can I help you, sir? It's a bill.
It's a bill.
Yeah. Like that would be hilarious. That's an SNL bit they'll never make. But anyway, they come in and he's lucid because it's noon and they inject him or whatever it takes. And they would say, hey, there's a press conference in an hour. Either you're going out there or we are. They're assembled. You can either tell, let us fucking, go out on your shield here, like for the good of the party. Like, here's your speech. We had it written by our guy who knows how to write speeches. And that would work. He'd have to give up, because if you had those four go out there and have a press conference and say it's in the national interest that the 25th Amendment is employed here, because our friend, our colleague, our family, our brother, like, kiss his ass as much as you can, but say he can't hack it anymore and kick him out of the job. But once you do that, I said this yesterday because it just kind of popped into my head, but it's Al Gore. I know. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Al Gore is from the time of stability and prosperity, and he was there when the coin flipped heads, when it could have flipped tails, when there was like 500 votes in one county in Florida, and he could have been George Bush on 9/11 and saved trillions of dollars and not invaded multiple countries. There's alternate universes where Al Gore was the president for those 8 years, and I think it's a better fucking place. But I kind of still see that in him. And not only do I see all that, I see that he kind of grew a sense of humor in the last 25 years.
He's 76 now. For all I know, he's
spring chicken. Yeah.
Is he still jetting around saving the world? To me, I kind of want a name I know, but I want somebody that feels safe. I don't think that Gavin Newsom guy can win, a national race. I think it has to be Kamala. If I'm trying to win and I'm not allowed to make some sort of wacky, like Michelle Obama and Al Gore type mix. Like that's what I'd want probably, by the way, is like Michelle Obama and Al Gore. Something like some kind of mix of them would be, I think, the strongest wacky pick. But
I'm so
she's already
surprised by
said she
Al
doesn't
Gore.
want it. And but
I'm sorry. I'll keep going.
but Kamala, it has to be Kamala because I heard some political legal jargon about how if Joe were to step down and allow Kamala to be president and then she's the incumbent, it checks off more of these boxes that these 13 keys to the White House or something like that you need X amount of, making her the Kamala.
Comma, like the punctuation. Kamala.
I'm okay with being disrespectful to Kamala.
Okay.
That's how it rolls off my tongue.
I was trying to correct you privately, so nobody knew.
I don't care. I don't care.
Well, okay.
Kamala? Is it Kamala?
Kamala.
It's
Kamala,
what you
like
just said.
punctuation?
It's what you
Kamala?
said, Kyle. I think you got it right.
Kamala. If she were the incumbent, it seems like she has a pretty good shot as well because she gets. They explained how something about his campaign funds could directly be transferred to her if she became the incumbent. And I didn't really pay too much attention.
She's so
to the jargon.
unpopular. Like she's got less of a chance than fucking a dead Joe Biden.
I think the DEI criticism of her will hit hard, right? I remember when before he picked her, he's like, I'm going to limit my choices for VP to just women. And I'm like, that feels yucky to me, right? He didn't say he's going to pick the best person who could be president in case something happens to him. He said he's going to pick the best woman. And then he chose Kamala. And I don't hate Kamala like everybody else does, but I do acknowledge everybody else does. Therefore, there's something going on that matters. Yeah. And I like Newsom. The reason I like Newsom is I thought he absolutely butt-fucked DeSantis in their debate. And DeSantis, I think, is better than Trump at it. Like, if Newsom were to go up there, he would make Trump look bad in the next debate, and everyone would be like, we got our guy. I think that's how it would play out. But for reasons I don't fully understand, only Kamala is able to inherit Biden's like fundraising, ground game, and all that stuff. Maybe
that's true, but Kamala just has too much of that like Hillary Clinton energy of like she's so apparent in her insincerity and the way she's just fake from top to bottom.
So she says a thing. You guys have probably seen the viral video where she's like, we need to overlook what has been and look at what can be. I messed that up, but
something
I'm close.
Like that,
yeah. And I mentioned that to my wife. I even showed her the video, and she's like, well, Trump says build the wall again and again. Trump says lock her up again and again. Why does Trump get to repeat the same lines? But for her, it's insincerity. And I'm like, actually, I don't have an answer, but it is viewed differently. People see it through different lens.
Well, it's because one of them is, albeit ham-handed in its delivery, a policy prescription. Build the wall. Like he's saying something he wants to do, or he pretends to want.
The man sells slogans.
Fight for. He sells like what Kamala's doing is acting as though she has come up with a phrase organically at the end of a statement, and then adding it in as like a little addendum. And it's like someone told her to say that, or like beforehand they were like, hey, this little line, this tested big.
Well, she came up with it. Who knows? She's not dumb.
Are you riding with Biden though?
Me?
No, I don't think so.
I only say that because they had like they kept reporters have been hounding Democrat officials this week, literally like chasing them down hallways and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were after this guy, and they were like, does the entire committee agree? I'm riding with Biden. Does every single member unanimously agree? I'm riding with Biden. 10 times as he walks away from, I'm riding with Biden.
Not a good answer.
It is a good answer. I mean, like he said where he answered the question. I like that a lot more than dodging. Well, he kind of dodged.
Well, didn't really answer it. If they're like, so everyone's on your side? I'm riding with Biden. Okay,
okay.
You said it, but everyone is? I'm riding with Biden. Oh, okay. So if it was yes, you would have said yes. Thanks.
Pelosi said something interesting. They're like, hey, do you think Biden should step down? And she's like, the NATO summit is this week. I think we should put this aside this week. And it's like, that wasn't yes. That was a million miles from yes. Pelosi's like, let's break the knives out on Monday.
Pelosi's like, well, I'm even older than him somehow.
She already stepped down. So.
Yeah, she did. Dianne Feinstein, did she die?
That was her way of stepping down. Yes,
That was how she stepped down. That's how a lot of these people step down. Yeah, they just age out of life.
They wheeled her corpse into the Senate until her dying days.
That's like during during Trump's first presidency. It was at the end of Obama's. A lot of Democrats were like, "Please, Ruth, please step down," and she's like, "What?" And then she just like dies 2 years into his presidency of being an ancient old woman. Yeah, that's a lot of these people. It turns out once they have power, they really, really don't want to let go of it. Makes sense. It's probably
that
fun.
was an error. That was an error, and now the country will reap the benefits of that error for years and decades to come.
Yeah, yep. I wonder how different it would be if they had a 5-4 majority instead.
I wonder how much different it's going to be if Trump gets to somehow install another justice.
I don't know if anybody's old enough, are they?
The oldest ones are Alito and Clarence Thomas are the two oldest Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, but what happens to one of those younger guys?
maybe. You don't know.
Trump's America. You never know.
But most likely, Trump just sort of resets the count on what we already have because it's the conservatives.
Yeah. Do you think in a Trump landslide scenario, he also carries the House and the Senate?
Yes and yes. Yeah, the Senate, I think they're saying they get anyway, even if Biden wins.
Do you know how? Look, I enjoy the guy's jokes, and his hotel properties are fantastic. But do you know how worrisome it is if Donald Trump is the president and he has the Supreme Court and all of Congress?
It's actually a really bad thing.
You know what he's going to do?
He will have a Secretary of Revenge going after people.
I'm not as optimistic about that. I think it would be good for him to give a little bit of what he's been getting for a few years. That'd be entertaining. But what he's going to actually do if he gets elected, I think, and maybe I'm cynical, is he's going to try and do some bullshit olive branch thing, and then he's just going to support Israel harder than anyone we've ever seen. And
that's part of his he's pledged to support Israel harder than anyone we've ever seen, which is what he did his first 4 years. So
it's true. Well, it seems to be a trend, but yeah, I don't think he's going to go on a revenge tour the same way. I didn't buy it in 2016 when they're like, he's going to be a dictator forever and he's going to make voting illegal. He's going to do this and that. And then he got in there and he's like, we're going to fucking build a wall. And then they're like, we can't afford it. And he's like, oh, I guess okay.
They arrested him. They drug him to court. They took his rights away. They humiliated him. It's being thrown at him in these debates. He's not happy about that. And then just as soon as they were done rubbing his nose in his mess, Mama came home and said, whoa. Didn't y'all know he's immune? What have y'all done? What have you done? Well, it's a good thing he's not about to be the most powerful man in the world again and have the Supreme Court and all of Congress at his whim. It's a good thing that he doesn't get to decide who the Attorney General is, that he doesn't appoint judges, that he hasn't already appointed judges in many of the districts that you will be tried in for defrauding the American people by hiding this Biden dementia Parkinson's scandal. How long has the hand at the wheel been that of a demented old man? How long were the ICBMs in the control of someone who didn't know what Tuesday was anymore?
I'm convinced. I need to start supporting Trump and get on his good side.
You're going to get on his good side.
He lets people back in the fold, right? He's already okay with DeSantis. He's gonna be friends with Nikki Haley soon enough.
I do like that. Apparently, Rubio. He won't let that big fatty
Chris Christie.
Chris Christie back in the fold, just throwing insults at him, being like
sideways
saying
insults.
He's the fattest politician. I hate that. I hate to hear people say it. Big fat pig. That's what they say.
Trump is kind of in the middle of his weight range, I'd say. He was fatter as president, but he was thinner as a 2016 candidate.
He'll gain his president weight back if he wins.
I've had the honor and privilege of seeing those two men stand side by side in person, and Chris Christie is just a world of fat. Yeah.
I'd love to get a picture with Chris Christie. I imagine how good you'd look in that photo. You know what? I'd be like, Mr. Christie, pop on the Yankees outfit. Pop on the Yankees pants, and then let's get a couple photos. I'm going to be looking fantastic.
I just heard Trump tell the opposite joke. He was meeting with the Heritage Foundation, the people behind 2025, and he's like, and I took some pictures with them. They're handsome. I'd like you all to destroy those pictures. There's a bunch of good-looking people I took pictures with, and I want those pictures gone.
Yeah, he's got to lose weight then. He's got to keep it off. Can't be eating fucking KFC every day on Air Force One.
You saw them delivering the McDonald's to the court, right?
Yeah, he lives that way. Like
that is the life that I want. That
the McDonald's man.
Being Trump's Secret Service agent must be a creme de la creme position in the agency. They're like, did you hear? Fucking Newtonberry got Trump. What? What? The residents? No. Fucking body man. He's going everywhere with Trump. He's on the golf course right fucking now. And you know what? Trump makes him drink.
Trump makes him drink. And Trump on the golf course, he's just like working on a tight five the whole time. Where he's like, and another thing, folks, get a load of this.
You want to know some secrets? I know lots of stuff.
A lot of secrets out there. I know all of them.
I love telling them to random Secret Service agents.
How'd you get into this?
Know about the aliens?
I can't tell you. Can't tell you about the aliens. Wish I could. If they were real, I would. I'll tell you someday. Like just doing stuff like that. That'd be fun.
I wish you'd do some wild.
And then do you think the Carter guys are like pissed? Where they're like, this is ridiculous. I trained my whole life to be a Secret Service agent, and they assigned me to a 98-year-old man who hasn't been president since I was -2 years old.
Oh, do they still have people on Carter? Who would hurt that old man?
They must, though, right?
Like the fucking like Gaddafi. Look, we got him.
Like his somehow the security
that man's enemies are dead.
It's about maintaining presidential lifestyles. Like it's a kind of way to pay them and support their life forever.
Is the Supreme Court Justice? What's her name? I'm going to mispronounce her name, but I enjoy that. Sotomayor. Is that it?
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, she's super anti-gun. And then this week, a carjacker attacked her, and her Secret Service agent murdered him to death with a gun. and it's like,
not for me.
Don't you love that?
Dude, it would be better still if her Secret Service agent beat him with a club. Like,
all right,
proved her point.
He drew his sword in the middle of the highway. Little did the pep know that he had an adamantium shield. He's just like, the bullets are dinging off.
Yeah. Right. Little did the perp know that Justice Sotomayor's agent had already called a peaceful social worker, a 22-year-old girl fresh out of college, to talk him down.
Hi, I hear there's some conflict that needs resolving.
He's not answering. He's gibbering a lot of things.
Gibbering. No, it's just a random carjacker. Apparently, wasn't motivated by anything political. They said, which I'm always worried about because the Supreme Court has become so politicized, whether it's their own fault or not. But it'd suck if someone from either side, any of those guys, got. You should leave those people alone. I don't know. I like this country's been real stable politically my whole life, and I kind of got used to that. And I am a little worried that Trump might overindulge because,
imagine if one of the parties in power was like really vindictive towards the the head guy of the other party.
Trump is guilty. Like no one ever argues that he's innocent. They always argue that they shouldn't. They argue that he's immune.
They were doing.
They argue that. Anything. They'll argue that the timing is funky, that he's immune to prosecute. They never say he didn't do it.
I'm sure if you look into any real estate magnate, you can find stuff. But they were hitting him for shit like, oh, Mar-a-Lago's only worth $18 million. My ass, it's worth $18 million.
He tripled the size of his apartment. The thing was like 10,000 square feet. He claimed it was over 30,000 square feet.
He was counting the roof, Woody.
That still wouldn't do it.
Build a couple levels up there, a little patio hanging off the side. What's your problem? Get creative.
I just don't see I don't care about him lying on even the bank he purportedly did lie to, because he did make that up.
Do you care about the sexual assault where he pinned that woman up against the wall and finger banged her?
Yeah, there's a lot of discrepancies in you're talking about the woman who went on CNN with Anderson Cooper and they had to cut the interview short because she talked about how it was sexy. And she was clearly not fully with it. That woman, whose story mirrored that of a CSI episode, who posted on Facebook that she was a fan of Trump's years after the purported incident.
This same story since long before that CSI episode. She's been telling it since the beginning. She told her family, her friends, etc. She cried to her mom and her best friends about what happened to her. There's freaking. She had people testify from the department store that it happened. It happened.
They've thrown so much shit at him and so much of it has not stuck that my default is almost now like, oh, of course they're throwing more nonsense at him. Like that, oh, they tried this 13-year-old thing right before the election, and then that fell to ashes.
Did you see that girl's testimony? It's on YouTube. It is compelling. Yeah. And then like they started going at her and she said, fuck it. It's not worth it. Why am I going after Trump? Like she has everything to lose and nothing to gain.
They have, I'm sure there's a lot to gain, but it doesn't matter in that as a viewer of it, they have lied and made so much shit up.
But you haven't seen it.
Now I have.
But
no.
You know that it's false. Okay.
No. I was saying that this is the same story they rolled out right before the 2016 election, and then it became nothing immediately afterward. You remember that, right? Where they were like,
"This is 2005." This testimony, like, I don't think it's from right before the 16.
No, it was rolled out as a big news story, like the final last gasp to try and ruin him. I remember that specifically.
It's rolling out again right now.
Yeah,
it becomes relevant as he becomes relevant. And then his interview with Howard Stern is like getting traction again, where he said that he liked to go behind stage at the Miss Teen USA pageant because he's inspecting it. You should hear his audio. He's obviously creeping about it. Or the time he was on the escalator when he talked to that 10-year-old girl and said she'd be dating him in 10 years. Like, this is creepy.
That is creepy. That's a fun joke. I like the 10-year-old joke.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's a self-deprecating joke if you think like Trump, though. He's saying like, you know, that's what I do is
very generous interpretation of hitting.
Well, nobody thinks 10-year-olds are hot. Even if you believe the Epstein nonsense. Oh, come on. He wasn't asking Epstein for 10-year-olds. It's documented. Woody, he liked him 13, 14.
All right.
Checkmated, my friend.
You know, I can't win them all.
Yeah.
I think there were 15 or 20 million killed.
They've done so. I say 30. I say 30 million. Yeah. And I could be wrong about all of it. He could have done all of it. But at this point, they've spent almost a 10-year period making shit up.
Personality aspect of Trump. Like, no one made up that he said you can grab women by the pussy. That's his audio. No one made up this thing about the 10-year-old's going to date him in 10 years. Like, no one made up the flight logs of him being on Epstein's plane. No one made up all logs of him going back and forth to Epstein. This shit isn't made up. It's factually evidence. What happened is they released the Epstein court documents recently, which is putting it in the news again.
Let's do the Billy Bush thing. When you heard him say, you could just grab him by the pussy and they let you do it. Like when he did that whole speech, and this also comes down to like a non-charitable interpretation from your part. Like I agree that the 10-year-old comment is pretty fucking creepy, but that was clearly a dude trying to seem cool and like, oh yeah, I'm a billionaire. I fuck all the time. Women love me. They know me. I'm Trump. I got hotels. Look at me. Like he was bloviating and talking big, and they pretended as though that was him being like, yeah, I'm a serial criminal. I'm out there grabbing people, and they say stop. And then I go, no. And I keep like,
I thought that's what he did. I think he actually goes around and like, maybe not as regularly, but like he's grabbed a few. You know what I mean? You know how you like do something like 3 times and you're like, bro, trust me, I'm all the time doing backflips. In your head, you're like, I mean, I made the last 2.
Taylor's argument. Well, Taylor asked me a question. So the thing that when they deposed him for the Eugene Carroll thing and said, hey, this thing that says here that you can just grab women by the pussies because you're a star. And he's like, well, you know, historically they do let you do that. That's true. You might not like it. You maybe will, but yeah, you can do that. So like, was he bloviating and pumping his own tires? Yeah, possibly. That'd be a charitable interpretation, but not a wild one. But then when they deposed him and he doubled down, it's sort of hard to look at it as this is just a guy being
He did
silly.
say they let you do it.
But yeah, I'm really not saying that his let him do it or grabbing him by the pussy is the problem. I'm saying it lends towards who this man is.
I have no doubt. See, this is what I dislike about Trump a lot is that he's clearly a creep in a lot of ways, but they have made up so much shit.
They didn't make
now
it the Epstein call.
We'll see what happens with the Epstein thing. If they come out and you see real deal shit with that.
What did you think about Joe Biden's daughter's diary?
I can't recall the details of it. I remember it being not so
sounded like he molested her.
Forced her to shower.
I can't argue. I don't know the details.
But like that's the thing, like the media has made this world where
there's a good chance
lie
both
about
of our
so much
retarded
shit.
old presidential candidates that 70% of America would rather have someone different in both slots if they could.
Yeah.
It's a very good chance that both of them like them a little young. All right. That both of them do. And there's so much. Look, I believe if 10% of what both of them are accused of is true, they are awful human beings. And they shouldn't be running a fucking Dairy Queen. You know, it's wild that this is what we have.
I would really prefer neither of these people.
No shit.
Who would you pick?
No shit. You. I pick you over Trump. I pick you over Biden.
I could never win with my history on the show. But Taylor, if you were trying to help the Democrats win, who would you put in Biden's place?
Gavin Newsom. He's like a conventionally attractive guy. He's clearly smart. He's with it. He's young. He knows how to speak, which is important. He can be charismatic. I think that he would beat Trump on the stage. Like, if he went down and like started getting in like a battle, it wouldn't do, because he would want to avoid Trump's domain, which is like the throwing shit back and forth and like having a reality show style argument up there, because Trump's going to win that against any of these politicians. But if he kind of had like a high-handed, like, I'm not engaging with this sort of thing, that's not what we're here to do, like that sort of response to it, I think he'd win. And so I'm sticking with my prediction that if the Democrats really wanted to win, they'd get Gavin Newsom. Like most of the people who are voting for Biden are similar to the people voting for Trump. They don't actually like the guy a ton. Like, and so if there was an alternative who was palatable, the Democrats wouldn't lose anyone by switching from Biden to Newsom. Like, no, I don't know if there's a Democrat in Ohio that's like, I was all in on Biden, but now, I don't know. Like, it just seems like a common sense move.
Yeah, I don't like all the sex stuff with Trump, and the potential that there are those underage girls at all. Can we separate the crime from the artist, though, the way we do with Kevin Spacey and so many other beloved Michael Jackson? Can we just look at like everything else and pretend like that didn't happen, and then I can still really like Trump? It's annoying. You know what? I don't like that.
Yeah,
it's funny you said that, because I haven't been able to articulate this thought I've had, that a lot of people who are pro-Trump aren't really pro that man. They're just absolutely fed up with the most unlikable parts of the blue team, right? Yes. The most unlikable parts of the blue team, like affirmative action, right? You know, like, oh, we need to pass over these guys and then pick these guys instead based on their skin color.
Yeah.
But we're virtuous when we do it. We're not like, we don't do it the way you do. Or I don't know, some
like
of the
trans kids thing. I'm like, am I going to vote for the party that wants to trans kids, or am I going to vote for the party that doesn't like that? Oh, that's pretty obvious. That's pretty clear.
I hear you. I don't even think it's real, but the critical race theory thing that they were saying was in the Virginia schools that helped him win the governorship. Whatever that is, that like the blue team is not messaging that right, and in some cases not doing it right. And if they could just remove the most unlikable parts of themselves, they do way better in elections.
That's true.
Yeah, my prediction is Trump is going to win enough of the black vote, the Hispanic vote, that he's going to, and the Muslim vote up, specifically up in the Rust Belt, that he's going to wipe the floor with Biden. I think that
he's not going to win the Muslim vote, and that's no.
He's as pro-Israel as
I don't think he has to win it. I think he has to win more of it than he should.
Or they could just stay home.
They could stay home.
That's a way.
There's big counties up there that matter, apparently, where these small pockets of people can weigh heavily on the national stage.
To your point,
like the way
everybody
Broward
matters
County
when it's that close. Right? When it's that close, every vote counts.
Yeah, it's about who has the most roads, who has to victory, how many, the combinations of states and such. But I think Trump's going to win in a landslide if I had to bet right now. And man, I specifically remember saying they should stop bullying the guy who's got a coin flip to be the most powerful man in the world in 6 or 9 months or whatever it was. It's like, what are y'all doing? Do you think you're really going to put him in prison so he can't be the president? Like, is that your goal here? Then let this wait till after the election. I never thought that any of this would happen. The legal stuff, troubles for him, not because I didn't think he was guilty of some shit or needed to go to court over his shit, but that it seemed against like democracy to stir that shit up in the year of his presidential bid, when he's leading, not when he's leading. He's the most likely next president, and we're going to draw him up on these crimes that, it's not capital murder. It's not, it's not something that needs our attention. He's not a danger to society. It's crimes, it's felonies. But
in the case of the business fraud stuff, election interference, business fraud stuff, I agree. It's not violent. The rapey stuff I like seeing tried.
Yeah, if it ever gets tried, besides the sex assault with Carol Jean or whatever her name was, I believe.
Eugene Carroll.
Eugene Carroll. Okay. Like, obviously that one did. Seems like a lot of them, there's a lot of he said, she said, and I never know what to think about that with a politician, especially somebody like Trump.